Hey, if you've seen my react for Smoke Sprite by Soyoon and RM, then you will have heard me say that this is not a blind react. I have not analyzed this, but I have heard it a lot. So yeah, let's go over it and I will see what I pick up on. So because this isn't live and because it has quite a repetitive layout to it, there's only so much I can really analyze with this, but let's go back through it. And yeah, there's a few things that I know I definitely wanted to touch on, and some of them will be production and vocal processing things as per usual when it comes to doing studio recorded works, but it's good for you to know if you are singing. Every time I work, every time I run. Already I'm stopping, I know, I'm really sorry, but you can hear how many layers there are. Although they're all singing in unison, they are all singing the exact same thing on top of each other. So what that does is gives it a much bigger, a much fuller sound. When we have layers, we can then pan them to be on different sides of our headphones, which is why at the end of the last one, I was kind of doing this to see what was going on there. They can also use it for frequencies. So you can have somewhere you pull up the lower frequencies and somewhere you pull up the higher frequencies. And then when you mix them together, the overtone coverage. If your fundamental note is the main note that you're singing, you then have overtones coming in over the top of those. We can pull up the lower ones, we can pull up the higher ones, you can pull up all of the kind of low frequencies of that fundamental note and balance them out and create a sound that is a lot more level. You can then also compress them down so that you are limiting the peaks, you are limiting the dynamics of the voice to make it sound very level, very clean. When you're looking at it on processing software, is normally you kind of see all these peaks and these waves for different notes and different frequencies. But once we compress it, we kind of take away some of those and kind of level it out so that all the kind of frequencies just stay more or less along kind of one line that we're looking at. So that is what I am hearing so far in this, but the layers are excellent. Every time I move, as always for us. Every time I live, every time I love, every time I hope, as always for us. I love that growl that he is putting on some of those. It is well controlled. He is using it to emphasize certain phrases, certain words probably, and certain notes whenever he wants to. He's not using it throughout the whole thing. It doesn't sound overly forced. And yeah, it is a great thing to use, especially when you're rapping, to add contrast. Was made of your love in your face, but I will have 저 멀리서라도 나비가 돼. Just walk lightly whenever you want. Go unhurriedly wherever you walk. 누군가의 숨이 깃들여 있는 거리 내 영혼과 영원을 담을게 everywhere. Every time I walk, every time I run, every time I move, it's always for us. Every time I look, every time I love, every time I hope, it's always for us. That last line, it's always for us. That was the only part so far of this that I've kind of picked up on that wasn't layered. It is actually really hard when you are recording, even in a studio when you don't have to worry about anything else, to get the takes the exact same. Every placement of every vowel, every start of every word, it has to be bang on. And that is really difficult. Some producers will come along and they might chop little bits off the front of your words to kind of squeeze it in so that it is perfect timing. But for the most part, you should be doing it exactly the same on top of each other. Unless there are probably, yeah, a good couple of layers, I'd say, on it. I don't think it's just 2 layers. I think it's probably maybe 3 or 4. I might be wrong. Then just the way that they do these vocals in K-pop, it just amazes me because it's such a high quality level of vocal recording and the processing that goes with it. And the sound that you come out with is so clean. There's not kind of a lot of reverb on it, which is that kind of echoey sound that you sometimes get. That's often used to kind of support a singer. Some people will call it kind of like a safety net. And with a lot of the K-pop songs coming out at the moment, you don't hear much of that at all. And that is really incredible. It tells a lot about the skill of the singer when they don't need anything like that to keep the ambience of the song. Every time I work, every time I run, every time I move, it's always for us. Every time I look, every time I love, every time I hope, it's always for us. Yeah.
the mighty survivor of hell. Plop down from heaven to sail. Holy water that I scooped from the well. Fought tooth and a nail just to prevail. Monster ruthless as I move through the field. Feeling worried, in a hurry like a 2-minute drill. To make a couple mil off a lucrative deal. Selling train of thought, name an artist who could derail. You never see it like a nigga hula hooping in jail. I got a friend smart as fuck, but he's stupid as hell. He swear that God ain't real, since it ain't no way to prove it itself. As if the universe ain't enough. As if the volcanoes ain't erupt. As if the birds don't chirp. As if a trillion nerves don't work in a human body. Shit, who would I be without the creator of this theater beside me to gently guide me? Some days I wonder if I need to pick a different hobby. I'm deep in with this rapping, it's all a nigga know. I never did nothing better, it's hard to let it go. But like a father watching his daughter walk down the altar with tears in his eyes, you gotta let her grow. And so I shall, but first I've been honing my style. Coders around with more quotables than what the quota allows. You see a top 10 list, I see a golden corral, nigga. As the moon jumps over the cow, I contemplate if I should wait to hand over the crown and stick around for a bit longer. I got a strange type of hunger. The more I eat, the more it gets stronger. The more it gets stronger. I said the more it gets stronger.
I don't have a lot of experience with rapping. It might not surprise you. What amazes me about rapping and rappers is the way that they use their breath. They can continue it on for so long, and even though it's spoken, they still have to use a lot of air to create the full spoken sound. They also do still have to control the tone. At the end of some of J. Cole's phrases there, he was coming from a higher note and kind of dropping it down and doing that on the end of every phrase consistently. And while it's not kind of a sung note, it still requires pitch control to speak like that. So, yeah.
J.hope, Cold World. Every time I walk, every time I run, every time I move, it's always for us. Every time I look, every time I love, every time I hope, it's always for us. Every time I walk, every time I run.
I really loved the harmonies in that chorus that came in, and someone was doing some in their head voice, the top line of those harmonies, and they all just fit in so well, even with the music kind of going around and the whistling in there, and then J-Hope's main line and all of the layers on his main line. It kind of gave it that choral effect because you have so many voices and so many layers to texture it out.
Every time I move, it's always for us. Every time I look, every time I love, every time I hope, it's always for us.
I hope you have learned something from this React video, although there wasn't so much for me to touch on in this one. Either way, I hope you liked it. I hope you join me for the next one, which will be Jimin on Friday. Set me free. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope I will see you next time. Bye.